15 things people say when they're jealous of you. One way or another, we may have met or encountered jealous people in our life. Whether you see how other people are jealous of someone, or maybe you're the subject of their jealousy. Or perhaps you might not realize that what you're doing is a sign of being jealous. The truth is, none of us can escape jealousy, be it a close friend, a colleague, or even a family member. But it's important to take note if there's a reoccurring pattern that starts to affect your well-being. This is where you need to set boundaries. What are the signs? Let's take a look. Number 1. Insincere compliments. Jealousy is often linked to feelings of insecurity and envy, but of course it's easier to react to it and lash it onto someone else instead of acknowledging it. And one thing that jealous people do is that they won't ever admit that they're jealous. When you have good news, they could be one of the first to congratulate you, but you know that something is off with their compliment. Either it's how the tone sounds overly enthusiastic or coming with a hint of snark. Compliments are and should be given as it is, and there are no preconditions to it. If someone in particular comes in mind when you hear this, you might have thought about how that certain someone said a compliment to you recently, and you may want to keep them at arm's length. Or if you prefer to turn it back around, you can give them a sincere compliment when something good happens to them. Kill them with kindness. Number 2, downplaying your achievements. This one is not as subtle and as tricky as number 1. Most of the time, this is pretty obvious to notice. That's because when someone is downplaying your achievement, it usually comes out very direct. Be aware that this is never about you or your successes. This is completely on them because it really bothers them to see someone they're jealous of achieving good things. Therefore, they'll try to soothe their egos by minimizing the effect of your achievements so they can feel better about themselves. Number 3, always try to compete with you. Jealous people feel like anything you can do, they can do it better, and they're always on a mission to prove it. In a friendship circle, this may come out as that one friend who seems to always copy whatever you do and flaunt to everyone that what they have or are doing is better than you. While in the workplace, they'll make sure or make it seem like they're outdoing your work and efforts. And although it's very tempting to confront them or take them down a peg, be aware that this was never about you not doing enough. In fact, if you're tempted to compete with them, they have successfully invited you in their own game. Guess what? It's really not worth your time. So better focus back on what you've been doing and do it well. Number 4, saying passive-aggressive remarks. As mentioned before, jealous people will not admit that they're jealous. This is why they mask it so it won't be so obvious, resorting to passive-aggressive comments, doing so with a fake smile plastered on their faces. Although there could be an underlying reason behind why they do this, indirectly expressing their emotions in such an unhealthy way can act as a temporary relief for them. They've been bottling so much negativity within themselves, so they have to let it out somehow, even if it's not in the best way. Number 5, deliberately give you bad advice or try to demotivate you. These people may be in your closest circle or happen to be someone you trust, or basically just someone with whom you can share your future plans. Jealous people will try to demotivate you and point out the downsides of your intentions, therefore putting the idea that you're not going to make your dreams or accomplishment come true. Number 6, jealous people celebrate your failures. There's probably nothing that gives satisfaction better than seeing someone they're jealous of going south. Again, the root is due to how they don't want to see you doing or getting anything better than them, and yes, it can be that awful. Of course, it won't be like they're dancing in front of you after they found out you were scolded by your boss, but it can come out like they instantly are in a good mood after finding out something bad happened to you. Number 7, they would talk you down in front of other people. Probably one of the most manipulative and petty ways to show their jealousy of you is by talking you down in front of other people. This could be in front of your colleagues or even your boss. Their aim is to make themselves feel superior and reduce your credibility in front of other people. Number 8, they're unreasonably critical of you. Critiques are meant to establish growth, but when someone you know is highly critical of you without any clear reasons why, this could be a sign that they're jealous of you. When you feel down even before you start something or in the middle of your progress, they might sabotage you from pursuing what you thought was worth it. People who actually care about you will present it in supportive ways. Number 9, jealous people will make sure you know of their achievements. Someone who's jealous of you feels the need to compete with you and outdo whatever you're doing. This is also shown in how they'll always try to flaunt their successes even when the success isn't really worth flaunting in the first place. In fact, they'd be more likely to steal your thunder doing it while you're celebrating your own. Apart from how they need to make everything they did a chance to make them feel better about themselves, it's likely that they're actually not as successful as you are. Number 10, gossip about you or talk bad behind your back. You may be completely unaware of this as it's done behind your back, but if there's any colleague in your workplace who happens to do this to your other colleagues, you may want to keep your distance from them. When someone gossips about somebody else, there's a high chance that you may also be their gossip topic. So it won't really be the best advice to just follow along with whatever they're saying, and it's not like we know the truth anyway, right? Number 11, they imitate you. Essentially, jealousy is related to obsession. They want what you have, and one of the ways to get what you have is by being a copycat of yourself. Although there's a possibility you might find this flattering at first, but the more you look at it, the behavior can be very irritating. The best you can do to respond to this is not to give them any attention. Number 12, they definitely won't be there when you're doing well. Jealous people are insecure at the core, and seeing you doing well is probably the last thing they want to go through. This will make them feel extremely uncomfortable, and it increases their insecurity. There's a high chance that they won't be joining or even avoiding all the celebrations you throw for yourself. Number 13, they dislike you for no reason. To an extreme length, jealousy can poison relationships. It's because a jealous person tends to harvest negative feelings about someone they're jealous of. This may be a little hard to take in because none of us like to be disliked for no reason, and you may be tempted to make them like you, but we suggest it's best to just move on from the situation. Number 14, they take some credits for your achievement. Now, this one may not be as snarky as other examples, but to be truthful, it is annoying. The way they said it may sound appreciative of your effort, but at the same time, they wrap it as if they play a big role in your accomplishment. Although such statements can also come from someone who genuinely cares about you, so it's important to pay attention to the difference and not just tar everyone with the same brush over the saying. Number 15, jealous people ask you uncomfortable or scrutinizing questions. While most of the things people say when they're jealous of you are subtle or come as passive-aggressive, this one is another direct example of it. Not only because they're likely to ask you themselves, but the choice of words usually comes out very rude and even borderline offensive. And actually, you have every right to be offended if this does happen to you, since this will pretty much cross some lines. The best way to handle this one is to completely ignore this person, or if you can, just cut them out of your life. Really, nobody needs such negativity, and this person's aim is to shake your confidence and rattle it down. So it's really not worth your time to answer or even explain yourself to them, because they never cared about the answer anyway. What can you do about it? Be aware and understand that what jealous people do is only to bring you down, and what they're saying most likely has nothing to do with you. If it's something you think you can discuss with them, try to do so, but if it's something you don't feel like it's worth your time, it's best to keep your distance from them since they were never worth your time and energy in the first place. Just keep on shining.